I had been divorced. Well, I have been divorced now for about 10 years. At the time, I was divorced for about 8 years and was in and out of relationships, always choosing guys that were not totally appropriate, in the sense they weren't horrible people, they just weren't into being committed to settle down. And so, just short-term relationships, 2-3 year relationships with people. And then I've been on my own for about 4 years and thought, I think I need somebody in my life. I want somebody in my life. And decided to join a dating agency to find that person to settle down with. I thought this is now a time that I need to think seriously about my future and what I want out of life.
Before Friends First, I was married, split up and divorced. I had a sort of time by myself and thought I want to find someone again and get on with my life, really.
It's a funny story, really, because my friend was going to buy me a 6-month subscription to a Christian dating site. And she said that when she went on to find a Christian dating site, there was so many of them, she couldn't choose one to get me a subscription for it. And so I went on to Google and Googled Christian dating sites, and Friends First came up. And it was just so different. It just looked so different. It was an offline dating agency, old-fashioned chats to real people, not just all virtual, and introductions, people supporting you and helping you through. I thought that seems the one for me, really. So that's how I found Friends First.
Just a Google search, really, and had a little trawl through. And the fact it was a kind of an offline site seemed a bit more interesting than on online. Look at the profiles and kind of have a little think about which one to contact, really.
Have got a number of friends who have been on the internet dating agencies, some of them free ones and some of them where you pay, with intermittent success. So some people have been really successful and found the one and that they got married to, and some of my friends didn't. And it was that hit and miss that I just wasn't really sure about. So I have no previous experience of dating sites.
Not really. I looked at I can't think which company it was now, and just had a look at it, but didn't really join it. It's just like a little introductory look type of thing.
I looked at what they had to offer, and I chatted to a person from Friends First. She was talking me through all the options that they have, and it just seemed a much more kind of hand-holding through the process. And I looked at it, and I know that Friends First is quite expensive, and especially compared to some of the other dating sites where you're paying, much less money, or some of them are actually free. And I know that it's much more expensive, but I just thought about it and thought, well, I want to invest in myself, and I value myself and my future, and I'm wanting to find a person I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I think it's worth investing that amount of money to an agency that seems a little bit more supportive, and they kind of check everybody first as well. So it's all that, I'm not going to have people that are just there for a bit of a laugh, or I'm going to find people committed to being in a relationship, and also I'm going to find genuine people. These aren't people with photographs that are 20 years old or photographs of somebody else completely. These are all genuine people, and they've been vetted by the people at Friends First. So that gave me a lot of confidence in Friends First.
The fact there was actually somebody to talk to at the end of the phone rather than just a computer, because when a computer doesn't do something, you're like, how do I fix this? So is it a little bit more user-friendly?
I think it was the fact that Friends First had talked to each and every one of the people that they were sending me profiles of, which meant that they knew each and every one of those people. And I could phone them up and say, look, I'm interested in this person. What do you think about them? And they would give me an honest account of that person and say, well, actually, I think this one's a really good match for you because of this, this, and this, and this. And that's what they said to me about Steve. They said, when I was interested in contacting Steve, they sort of said, well, actually, we think he's probably one of the best matches for you, even though he wasn't the one that caught my eye initially. I think that's what it was. It was the fact that I could just phone them up and talk to them about any issue that I was having with any aspect of the of the process, any aspect of the membership or any aspect of dating, I could just phone them up and talk to them about it.
Just that there was support there if you needed it, really. There's someone to talk to. It seemed quite genuine and kosher.
Yeah, so I got given 10 profiles through the post and looked through them all. With Friends First, you get this really large folder of information of what to do or what not to do and things like that. And I read it through because, you know, it's the kind of person I am. I think, well, I've been given this folder, let's read it. And one of the things it said is that when we send you the profiles, contact each and every one of them. And I felt uncomfortable doing that just in case I got, you know, friendly with more than one person. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have one person at a time. So I thought, well, I will contact them all, but I'll go through it systematically and contact one person at a time. And if that doesn't work out, move on to the next, etc., etc. So I've got time to do this. I've got plenty of time. So that's what I thought I'd do. And I contacted 4 people before Steve. 2 of those people came back to me and said, thank you very much, but they're talking to other ladies at the moment, so they won't take this any further, which was really nice. But 2 of them didn't return any contact that I'd made from them. So then I went through the profiles again, and then Steve's profile was the next one that I thought, okay, I'm quite interested in this person here. So I contacted Steve via text, was chatting away on text with him, and not feeling particularly very confident about this particular match. I'm thinking, it's not great. And then Friends First phoned me, Sarah from Friends First phoned me and said, how's it going? And I mentioned my, you know, what I was doing. And she says, no, call him up, arrange a date. I'm like, oh, okay. So I texted Steve and said, you know, it would be useful to have a chat. When are you free? So we had a long chat, and actually the chat was much better than the texting was. So, you know, we got to know each other a little bit more. We probably chatted for about an hour and a half. So, you know, got to know each other a little bit better and then arranged to meet. And so we met, and he was, you know, it was okay. It was all I can say. It was okay. Was the first day. It was okay. But I remember, and I was for me, if it just been me going on a date, I wouldn't have taken it any further. I would have said, that's enough. This isn't working for me. I'm not going to do this anymore. However, in Friends First say, have at least 3 dates, because you don't get to know anybody. People are nervous. I was nervous, so you're not yourself really. I mean, it's borne out by the fact that Steve thought I was a really shy, quiet person when he first met me, and that really is not anything like my personality at all. So, you know, the first date was okay, but Friends First said have at least 3, so I thought, okay, I'll meet him again. So I met the second time. We probably met about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and left about 6 o'clock in the evening. So it was about 5 hours we were together, the second date. Everyone says, oh, that must mean something. I said, well, it was all right. It was just, you know, we were just talking and it was all right. And so that when I was saying to my friends, I said, that, look, I'm going to meet him once more, but then that's going to be it. I'm not going to meet him anymore after that. And met on the third day, and it was just, I don't know, it's just a change in everything, because it was a lot more natural. Because on the third day, he came to a gig, because I play music, so he came to a gig of mine, and he was really helpful. He was putting the chairs out, tidying the chairs away, all that sort of stuff without being asked. He was seeing other people doing that, so he just mucked in and helped. And I just thought, actually, you're all right, really. So I carried on seeing him. But had I not listened to Friends First about their 3-date rule, we would not be seeing each other now. This is going to sound so shallow, and I know I'm sounding so shallow. It wasn't really his profile; it was his picture. It was his image that I was more attracted to. But there's some genuine things written on that profile, that, you know, what he did for a living. He was quite open and honest about his background and things like that. I thought, well, actually, he's a down-to-earth kind of guy. So it's a kind of person I like. I don't like people that are too up themselves, if that's a phrase to use. So he just seemed a down-to-earth kind of guy. So that's what attracted me to his profile.
Interests, things that we'd have in common, and looks to a degree as well.
Yeah, I think we all do. I think we all have this image in our heads of the Prince Charming in the, you know, the knight in shining armor and on a white horse, etc., going to carry me off and you know, rescue me and save the day kind of thing. We always have those images. I have a type of pattern of the kind of guys that I date. And I knew that I needed to get out of that pattern. And I was told by a very wise friend of mine that the best person to date is someone that your friend chooses, rather than someone you choose, because you don't choose with your head, you choose with everything else other than your head. So just probably try and find, you know, a good friend to just say, look, this person, these kind of personality traits are perfect for you. I think that's why Friends First is that friend. They were kind of looking at this in a much more kind of logical way and going, right, well, this is the kind of personality Nina is, this is the kind of personality this person is, perhaps they will match. And actually, Steve is nothing like the kind of guys I normally go for. He's nothing like the kind of guys that I'm interested in or attracted to, yet he's perfect for me. So, you know, just throw your criteria out the window.
Yes, I did, yes. Being married before, I had to sort of think, okay, going forward, where do I want to go with things? I kind of wanted someone similar age group, someone who's had kids, but they're offhand. I didn't want to have to, I didn't want to like start a family again, brand new, or join one. It may sound funny, but I just didn't want to do that. So that kind of helped really in my selection process of who I kind of wanted to date and potentially marry.
For the first date, we went closer to me in Tunbridge Wells. The second date, we went closer to Steve in Sevenoaks. And so the third date, Steve recommended that he come to my house. So I was a bit, you know, a bit unsure about it. I thought, actually, why not? And so he was going to come over about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'd watch a film, have something to eat, and then I had a gig in the evening. So he was going to come with me to the gig in the evening. So we sat on the sofa, we watched a film. It has to be the most boring film I've ever watched, though, because it's one of those things where you compromise and neither of you actually enjoy the film. But it was okay. You know, we chatted and we sat on the sofa and cuddled up, really. And so then I'd already made something to eat, and we ate that and then went off to the gig. And so that basically the evening he was just sat watching me play in the music gig. And then after that, he went home and I went home. It felt a lot more natural to say goodbye to him on that third date and to kiss him goodbye, because we hadn't really kissed before that. So kiss him goodbye and, you know, felt a little bit more relaxed and quite excited to see him again, which was the first time I'd felt that excitement. Mm.
It's probably about an hour or 2 hours long, and we went to a little coffee shop in Tunbridge Wells. Sort of during the middle of the day, so you know it's easy to find, and also I thought that Nina would be leaving when it's light and sort of felt like a safe kind of environment. So we just had a tea and a cake and had a chit chat really.
Well, we'd kind of mentioned that we're going to get married. We talked about getting married, and so I was waiting for Steve to actually propose properly, because we discussed getting married. And so one day we're driving from Crowber Town to where I live, and I was getting a bit grumpy on the phone, in the car with him, saying, do you know, I've been waiting for so long for you to propose to me. It's getting really annoying that you haven't done so. I was getting really kind of grumpy in the car journey home. And when we got home, the plan was that afternoon to put the Christmas tree up. So we're putting the Christmas tree up, and then Steve brought in and said, oh, I've got another ornament for the Christmas tree. And I said, oh no, because my son was like that. I'd always have a new ornament. I'm a bit anal with my Christmas tree. I want it perfectly, you know, designed that is colour coordinated. And I was like, oh great, I have to find a space at the back somewhere where no one can see it. Anyway, so I went, oh, okay, so I turned around and there Steve was on his knees, handing me this decoration. It said on it, engaged. I was like, engaged? And he's there on his knees, kind of, you know, with a ring. And I was like, oh. So I had to take it all back, all that moaning that I had been doing, had to take it all back. And it was really, I mean, it brought tears to my eyes. It was really romantic. I wanted something quirky and small, and Steve wanted all the elements of a wedding. So, I mean, my view would be get married, sit in the park, have a picnic with your friends, and then go to the pub. Steve wanted a bit more than that, so we compromised. And so we're getting married in a very small chapel, Christian wedding. A lot of my friends who play in the band with me are playing the music for us, which is really nice. And then we're clearing out the chairs once the ceremony is over, putting out tables, and we're having a sit down 3-course meal with speeches, which I'm really thrilled about.
They'll be quick.
They'll be quick, okay. And this is all in a nice little quirky village called Alfriston. I don't even know of Alfriston. It's got one of the oldest pubs in the country there. And it's a lovely little village. And yes, it's just going to be a traditional wedding, but very small. Invest in yourselves, invest in your future. I don't know why people don't spend money on their future and in their relationships, but invest in yourself and take the advice from Friends First. If you are a member of Friends First or thinking about joining Friends First, do join and take the advice, because we're not experts in dating. Nobody's an expert in dating. And, there are people out there who are trained in the psychology of dating, which is, I think, what people from Friends First are. They seem to know how it works. So I'd say take the advice from Friends First and do it. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I did plan a few sort of dates before Nina as well. So it gives you the chance to practice, but also just see other people, see how it works. So it may not work straight away, but with time, you can find the one.